Here's what I've noticed. It seems as though Anthony Joshua, I'm looking at the face-off. It seems as though Anthony Joshua is getting bigger each fight. And I mean, like, for example, let me check it out real quick. This fight, he weighed in at 250 pounds. Last fight, he weighed in at 249 pounds, 243 before that, 244 before that, 245, 249. So it's safe to say that his range is between 250 pounds, but I just don't want to see him keep putting on, you know, muscle. But one thing I noticed about Wladimir Klitschko is this is the lowest he's weighed in what, since June of 2009. He weighed in just a little over, like 240 and a quarter. You know, just a little over 240 pounds. And he looks in phenomenal shape. After all, for him to be, you know, 41 years old, as I said in previous videos, in this day and age of boxing, being 41 years old is not old. You know, I understand a lot of people are concerned about his inactivity. Remember, we're in April. This fight is taking place April the 29th on Showtime in the States at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on over in the UK, you of course regular time over there on pay-per-view. And if you only have HBO, then you'll have to wait until late that night, which will be about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 10:45 Eastern Standard Time to be able to watch the fight. And it's going to be tape delayed. So looking at the fact that Klitschko has not fought since, you know, November of 2015, that's what, like 18, 19 month layoff? You know, now, no, not 18. Yeah, about 18 month layoff, something like that. Now, you can't blame him, right? Because he's been trying to get this rematch with Tyson Fury because of a rematch clause. Then Tyson Fury had his own personal. First, it was a Wladimir Klitschko injury that postponed it. Then Tyson Fury had his own issues. And now Wladimir Klitschko was taking time to get this fight put together because, remember, they were trying to put together Joshua versus Klitschko before Joshua fought Dominic Breazeale. But, you know, it didn't work out like that. So now that the fight's actually here, I look at the fact that Klitschko is coming in lighter. Maybe he wants to, you know, utilize more movement because what he couldn't do against Tyson Fury is he couldn't find him and he was gun shy. You know, this is not a fight where he could be gun shy. Now, Klitschko has been stopped before. You know, he has been on a canvas before. But at this point in time, he's talking about how obsessed he is. And also, you have Anthony Joshua, who's 18-0 with 18 KOs of literally no one. Who's the biggest name on his resume? Can you say Dominic Breazeale? Can you say Eric Molina? What, because he fought Deontay Wilder and Chris Arreola and he beat Tomas Adamek? Or you have to say right now, you know, if there was a rematch between if Anthony Joshua was to rematch all of the opponents that he's fought, right, all 18, I mean, who would have the better chance to beat him in a rematch? I would say Dillian Whyte. So therefore, I have to say Dillian Whyte is the best name on his resume. Now, I understand how UK fans are looking at it. They're saying Anthony Joshua is special. He's the best thing since Milky Tea. But what are you basing that off of, right? The guy's never been past 7 rounds. Also, he's never been in a situation where he was matched mentally with a fighter. For example, he's always been the fighter with the higher ring IQ. He's always been the fighter with the better defense. He's always been the fighter that's been in the better shape. He's always been the fighter that's been more powerful. In this case, even though Wladimir Klitschko was 41 years old, I ask you this. Do you think Wladimir cares how he wins? Do you think that he cares if it's going to be a nasty, boring fight? What if he goes out there and he tries to hug and get real intimate and slow down the fight with Anthony Joshua? You know? Those are questions you have to ask yourself. Wladimir Klitschko has a high ring IQ. These are going to be two fighters that don't fight on the back foot. They're going to be right there with each other. But one thing is for sure is we have not seen too much foot movement or head movement, which is very important from Anthony Joshua. He may have some good defense up top, but once again, look at the defense. Look at the caliber of opponents he was displaying that defense against. Both of these fighters are gold medalists. I think a lot of people are just writing Wladimir Klitschko off. You know, put it this way, the media is not writing Wladimir Klitschko off. Hardcore boxing fans are not writing Wladimir Klitschko off. But after all, this is a fight that's in Wembley. So therefore, you have all these people, all these fans that are on this Anthony Joshua, I can't call it a hype train because the reason why I'm not going to say he's all hype is because after this fight, if he beats Wladimir Klitschko, I'm going to say, okay, yo, dude is legit. But I couldn't do that off of his fight with Dominic Breazeale. I couldn't do that off of his fight with Eric Molina. I couldn't do that off of his fight with Charles Martin or Dylan White. Because it's not enough. Those caliber opponents are not enough for me to say, yo, dude is good. Don't get me wrong. I see glimpses of greatness. I see how he can be good. But people, I think people are getting too into his physique. And you're not looking at the facts. Now, I've noticed that over the last several weeks when I've been saying, listen, I'm picking Wladimir Klitschko, people are looking at me like I'm a hater. No, this is boxing. Why do you think that this fight is in front of 90,000 at Wembley? Because he can win. Meaning Wladimir Klitschko. So, I just thought I heard the mailman. But it's like this. For both of these fighters, you have Anthony Joshua that if he loses, he's going to be ridiculed to high end on social media. Is he ready for that? Is he ready for the memes? Is he ready for how social media is just like not kind? You may think that, oh, well, yeah, social media ain't really nothing. Yo, if he loses, he's going to get slaughtered. Whereas in Wladimir, what are they going to say? Oh, yeah, he's done. He should retire. If Anthony Joshua loses, they're going to say, oh, he lost to that old-ass man. Wladimir Klitschko ain't shit. There's so many things that factor in. Also, with the whole world. Now, this fight may not be a huge fight in the United States, but the whole world is watching. You feel me? You got Deontay Wilder who's there. Of course, you got Shannon Briggs watching. You got Kubrat Pulev watching. You got the Dylan White who's going to be watching. You got a WBO champion, Joseph Parker, who's going to be watching. Another thing I don't understand is how are they having this fight? Right, this fight's for the IBF, the vacant IBO. Anthony Joshua has the IBF. It's for the vacant IBO because Klitschko loves that IBO belt, and or the IBO loves him. And it's also for the WBA Super World. How do you put? That's why I can't wait to one day where I'm able to interview that WBA president and just really drill his head on some questions. It's like, how do you make a fight for a vacant Super World title? How? So going on, the winner, is going to have to fight big fights, or you got a slew of mandatories coming up. For example, the WBA just released earlier saying that they're going to grant the winner of Joshua Klitschko a voluntary for that WBA title. So you may think, well, what's that do with Luis Ortiz, who's the next mandatory for the WBA? What's that do for the winner of Shannon Briggs versus Fresno Quinda, who's fighting on June 3rd for that WBA world title? Kubrat Pulev is supposed to be the mandatory for the IBF title, but he's fighting Kevin Johnson of all people. So there's a good chance that the winner of this will have to fight Pulev again, unless them and Deontay Wilder strikes out a deal. Because see, here's the thing: you have WBO champion Joseph Parker, who's going to be taking on Razvan Kujanu. That's May the 6th next week, the week after Joshua versus Klitschko. You have Deontay Wilder, who was ordered to fight Bermane Stiverne in the rematch. They have to go into negotiations very soon, or have reached out to the WBC to say, listen, we're going to fight a unification. Because a unification trumps a mandatory. So the only way that Deontay Wilder can get out of that Bermane Stiverne rematch is if he fights a unification. So that means that whoever wins this, they have to go directly into negotiations unless the WBC already knows that, okay, well, Wilder's going to fight the winner of this. Anthony Joshua is contracted to Showtime. One of the main reasons why he was contracted to Showtime was for him and Deontay Wilder to fight to see who's the best heavyweight. It could have been happening right now. It's crazy how things worked out. It could have been happening right now or in May if Anthony Joshua didn't get, injured. And we wouldn't have seen the Klitschko fight likely. Or we could have. We don't know. So as I said on T Street Controversy, this is T Street Controversy Live. Tomorrow's going to be so lit. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to do some resting today. I've been a little, inactive this week because I'm working on my studio, and I'm getting my shopping for a new desk and all kind of stuff like that, electronics. I'm going to be covering this fight live. We're going to be doing a live stream about about in half an hour, maybe an hour after the fight, because so much is riding on this. Also, you have Scott Quigg on the card. He's with Freddie Roach. I'm interested to see how good he's going to look. T Street Controversy Live.